from stampcampwithjen.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, and welcome to this week's YouTube Live. So I am a day late this week. I normally go live Mondays at noon, and it's Tuesday at 10 Eastern Time. We had my annual in-person team meeting yesterday, which was lots of fun. So that's why I'm a day late this week. My son's on spring break, so things are all over the place this week. But we had lots of fun yesterday. I had about 11 girls on my team come over, which is about half of our team. And they came over, we had pizza, we talked about the new catalog coming out, which is really exciting. And it was funny because I ordered a bunch of my annual catalog pre-order, and I thought it like the products from the annual catalog, and I didn't think they were going to be here in time. And right as we were wrapping up the meeting, the UPS guy showed up. So we were all excited, yelling and stuff. He's probably like, what is happening in that house? So I am gonna turn on my YouTube on my iPad so I can make sure I see everything that you guys are saying. As you join, please make sure to say hello so I can, see where you're watching from. Did you have a good weekend? Do you have any plans this weekend for Easter weekend? I always love hearing about that stuff. I will do an unboxing video sometime this week. I don't have a lot of free time this week. I'm getting ready to send out my Simply Zinnia Stamp Camp to Go packets, so I'm working on cutting those up. They'll be shipping out this week before Friday at the very latest. And then I will have a new Stamp Camp to Go to share with you guys as well, because that closes out next week. So I am quickly trying to get all this stuff together. So just please be a little patient with me. And like I said, my son's on spring break this week too. So trying to spend time with him while he's home as well. So I hope you guys had a great weekend. I think we're doing like a big Easter get together this Sunday. Since my birthday was last weekend, I wasn't quite feeling the best. But because I had like a bunch of sinus stuff going on last weekend, so I didn't do a big thing. Hi, Barbie, I guess. Thanks so much for joining. Yeah, so I didn't really feel like doing a big thing, so I figured we'll just get everybody together on Easter. We'll do like a late birthday / Easter get together and just kind of enjoy each other's company. It's been unusually cool here, so maybe we'll be able to actually like sit outside and enjoy the weather and everything. Thank you so much, Barbie. I appreciate it. It was a good birthday. It was nice. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of chill out. We grilled steaks and went to Cold Stone for instead of cake, because I was eating cake all week for my stamp camp classes. I made cake, so I was kind of sick of cake. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around. I have a really, really cool technique for you to try out today. We did this at my in-person classes last week, and everybody was a little nervous about it when I explained it, but once we actually did it, they were like, oh, this is so cool, and I think you're really gonna like it. So let me go through a few announcements, and then we will get started with that technique, and I'll show you that real quick, okay? All right. Let me make sure everything's situated here so you can see. Here, let's zoom in a little bit. Making sure I got you guys there. Okay, so like I said, this new annual catalog is coming out very soon. It's funny because there's lots of mixed reactions when I show this catalog. But I really like it. It looks like a picnic, but they're actually crafting, which is funny to me because living in a humid climate, I would never craft outside, but to each his own, maybe somebody does. Hi, Cynthia. Thanks so much for joining us. Good morning. So yeah, so this is them. It looks like a picnic, but they're actually crafting. And the big theme lately is Stampin' Up! Is really trying to reinforce that gathering together in person, gathering and crafting and things like that. So a lot of rumors have been going around that Stampin' Up! Is moving away from in-person gatherings, which is not the truth at all. And they really reinforced that when we were at On Stage a couple weeks ago. It's really cool too. I don't know if you guys can tell, I just noticed this, but there's like a clear embossed like leaf pattern around the edges. It's just a very pretty catalog, something different that we haven't seen before. So if you would like to get a free catalog from me, all you have to do is place an order with me by March 31st, any size order, and I will be mailing these out through me, not through Stampin' Up! This year. A couple reasons. You'll get it a little bit faster if I mail it to you, and also I like to include like the new In Color sampler, information about my In Color Club, my product shares, a bunch of little goodies to go along with the catalog. So I just wanted to include all that in one big packet and send it out to you guys. So if you'd like to get a free catalog from me, just place any size order with me by March 31st, which I believe is Sunday. Yeah, Sunday, Easter Sunday this year. And I will put you on my list to send out a catalog. Don't forget, we do have, speaking of In Colors, we have retiring In Colors, the 2022 to 2024 In Colors. They will not be with us much longer, and these items tend to go very early. So if there's anything you want from these retiring colors here, make sure that you order these as soon as possible, okay? All right. As I mentioned, I do have Stamp Camp to go each month, and I'm working on the newest one for April. You can either do a one-time purchase, it's usually $39. You get enough kits to make 8 cards, 2 of each of 4 designs. Or you can subscribe to my monthly Stamp Camp to go and save 10%. It's only $35. And after 6 months of subscribing consecutively for 6 months, you get to pick a free stamp set up to $25 in value as a thank you for subscribing. And then I do have my shopping specials for this month. So this one is already passed. People that placed an order with me on March 24th, if they placed at least a $100 order, they get to pick a stamp set. And then anybody that orders at least $39 this month will get a surprise gift in your Happy Mail packet when I send those out next week. So just a little something extra. So online exclusives. We did have a new release of online exclusives a couple weeks ago. It has this beautiful zinnia bundle encircled in nature. You can go online and see all of the online exclusives that are available. Just remember, online exclusives are only available while supplies last. It's not like a catalog where we have a certain date. Oh, I'm sorry, Barbie. I'm in the US. I am not a Canadian demonstrator. I'm in the US. So online exclusives are only available while supplies last. They're not like catalogs where they have an end date. It's just once the inventory runs out, they're gone. So if there's anything that you see with online exclusives, it's always a good idea to order sooner rather than later, okay? All right, so that's all I have for my updates this week. Like I said, later this week, I will do an unboxing once I kind of get settled with all of my Stamp Camp to go stuff. And if you're on my newsletter, or if you're not part of my newsletter, I recommend going to my website and signing up for my newsletter, because I send a lot of my updates to my newsletter subscribers first. So you get all those updates as soon as possible. All right, so this is the card we're making. I love this. This is such a cool technique. So we made this in my in-person classes. Here's another version. This is the one I'm going to be demonstrating today. So this is a technique that my friend Terry Gaines, you might have heard of her. She's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in, I think, Minnesota. She demonstrated this, and when I saw her video, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. This is so cool. So we're actually using, speaking of online exclusives, we're using this Comforting Thoughts stamp set. I really like this stamp set. It's got a lot of good sympathy or comforting words. So I used in the pink one, I used Cancer Sucks, because that's a good one for breast cancer. And then I also use the Healing, Peace, and Rest as well. So really cool. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So we are using this Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. And I'm gonna grab my embossing machine. I'm gonna zoom you guys out just a little bit so you're not right on top of my machine. So for the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with a 3D folder, all you need is the, let's see here, the base plate, which is the #1 plate right there. And then we're gonna take our paper. I have a piece that's 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Now, this line here on the embossing folder is a good way to line up your paper so that you can make sure it's straight with the, whatever the pattern is. It'll make the pattern straight on your paper. So use that little line to kind of line up your paper whenever you're embossing. So we're gonna put that 3D embossing folder down and then the #4 plate on top of it. And we're just gonna run that through. It's like my sparkly shirt. I wore this to on stage, and because of all the sequins, everybody was like, oh my gosh, I love it. It like really sparkles and catches everybody's attention, which was really cool. I had sparkly shoes too that I wore everywhere. I like sparkle. Okay, so we have our embossing folder. We have our piece that's embossed here. So you see how this is the raised, this is the embossed side. So we're actually gonna flip it over to the debossed side. So debossed is whenever that pattern is kind of pushed down and those grooves are hollow there. And this is actually kind of messy, so I'm gonna grab my grid paper here. I'm gonna try not to cover up my little sign here. So we actually got this grid paper. We had on stage, we had a station where you could get either this paper pumpkin grid paper or a paper pumpkin stamp set. I chose the grid paper because I use grid paper all the time in my classes, so I love it. And I've gotten so many people say, oh, it's so cute because all the little puppies and stuff that are on here. All right, so I have Light Daffodil Delight, and I'm gonna take the bullet tip, and you see there's like little flowers here. We're gonna go with these little 5 petal flowers, and we're just gonna color the insides. Oh, I can zoom you guys back down so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. I'm gonna zoom it in even more so you can see what I'm coloring. So I'm just going right in those centers, and it's okay if you get on the edges a little bit, because when we go over it with that black, it's gonna really kind of cover up any mistakes you have, and you wanna just really make sure you get in those grooves. So I'm gonna do my best to try all these little flowers. We're gonna cover just this, color the centers with that Light Daffodil Delight here. Right here. It's so funny because when we did this card, everybody was so quiet in class because they're concentrating, trying to make sure they see everything. All right, now we're gonna take our dark Daffodil Delight, and we're going to use, in the center of these flowers here, you'll see like this little crosshatch pattern. That is the center of our flowers. So we wanna color that with the dark Daffodil Delight. Okay. I love to color. I thought this was a really fun card to do. Let's see. And if you miss any of the areas when you go over it with the black, you'll see, and you'll be able to go and color it back in too. So this is really a nice technique because it's very forgiving. If you make a mistake, it's not really going to matter, and you're going to be able to go back and fix it, or it'll just look a little bit different when you go over it with the black. So it's pretty neat. All right, so it looks like we've got our centers there. So now I am going to use, I'm using Parakeet Party, the light Parakeet Party. I really like this color. It's very bright. This is one of those retiring in colors here. So I think I'm going to use the brush tip because we're going to be coloring a little bit more larger areas here. So there are a couple little leaves here like this here, just kind of floating around. We're going to color those. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if it's not. Here's another one. These little ones are kind of near the white flower there. And see, I got on a little bit on the outside. That's totally fine. It's going to get covered up. Don't even worry about it. There's a little leaf right here. Those are kind of floating around next to those little flowers. And another one right here. You can be totally messy with this. It's not even going to matter. You'll see. Okay, so now for this, the larger flower, you see how some of these have little veins in them or little lines in the petals? Those are actually leaves. So we want to color those with the green as well. And really make sure you get in those ridges and get that all that color in there. And if it's a little messy, that's okay. Okay, one down here. The edges are a little bit trickier to see sometimes, but like I said, if you miss it, when you go over the black, you'll notice, and it's not a big deal at all. Okay. Let's see, I think over here. One of these little veins right here. Oh, see, and I missed another leaf right here, but I found it as I'm going around looking. Here's a big flower with the leaf. And again, you don't have to be very perfect with this, which I really like. You can kind of be a little messy. It's gonna be okay in the end, I promise. I think that's about it. Okay. And then for the flower, since I'm using Bubble Bath as the base, I have my dark Bubble Bath here. And for the big flower, I'm just going to color in all of the petals with the dark Bubble Bath. And again, not really being too, not trying to be too perfect with the coloring. It's not a big deal because that black is going to even everything out when we go over it. You'll see. It really is magic. I was so impressed when I saw this. I was like, wow, I have to do this. And everybody loves it. And honestly, you can do this. I had, excuse me, my friend Leslie, who's on my team, she came over yesterday for our team meeting, and she had already tried this on a couple of her other embossing folders and brought the little samples to show me, and it looked gorgeous. So you can really do this with so many different embossing folders. You just need a surface that's kind of got some flat areas in it. You don't want something that's way too detailed. But if you have an embossing folder that has some flat area in it, in between the designs, that's perfect. So I really hope you guys try this after you see how it changes before your eyes here in a minute. It's so cool. Everybody couldn't wait in my classes. They were like, oh, I can't wait to go home and try this with other embossing folders that I have. So they were really excited about it. All right, almost there. It's a little bit of coloring. So if you like to color, this is a great one for you. People that don't like to color, it might be a bit much, or maybe use it on an embossing folder that doesn't have a lot of coloring. I don't mind it personally, but I know some people aren't big fans of coloring. So maybe do it with one that doesn't have as many patterns, or has a little simpler pattern, I guess. Almost there. Trying to go a little faster because I know it's when you watch somebody live and you're like, oh, okay, we're gonna watch some color for the next 15 to 20 minutes now. If you watch the replay, you can kind of fast forward through this stuff, but I appreciate those of you that have the patience to sit here and watch me live and listen to me ramble while I color. You're very sweet. Okay, and I think this little edge might be a leaf or a petal. This might be another petal. Gets a little tricky when you kind of get along the edges, but you'll figure it out. I think this is all part of a flower too. I think I found a couple of, just double checking real quick. This might be about it. I think this might be a little petal right here. Okay. Now for the magic, watch it, okay? So we are going to use our Memento Tuxedo Black pad, okay? I do recommend something, if you don't use Memento specifically, use a linen pad. You don't want to use a spongy pad because you need kind of a hard surface with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole pad and watch the magic. You're just going to rub all along this white. Now, because we have that debossed side facing up, all those grooves are facing down, and you'll see the ink is not going to go in there, and it is magic. It looks like a little chalkboard pattern, and you can go over it and make it as light or dark as you want to. But you do need to have some sort of paper underneath to kind of keep your work surface clean. So you can keep going over this as much as you want. I think my ink pads are starting to dry out a little bit too. I'm gonna have to re-ink them soon. But you can make it as dark or as light as you want. But see all of those spots where, you know, I didn't stay inside the lines? It doesn't matter because it's getting covered up. It's gorgeous. Oh, thanks, Barb. I thought so. Like I said, I saw my friend Terry do this and I was like, oh my gosh. And even in class when we did this, I heard the same reaction from everybody. They were like, it's so cool and so easy. So it's just amazing. So I really hope that you guys try this. Like I said, try it with some embossing folder that you have. And if you do, please post a picture on my Facebook page and share it with the group. I think I would love to see how everybody kind of interprets this with projects or products you have on hand, or, you know, I'm sure there are so many other beautiful embossing folders and beautiful ways you guys can come up with this project. But it looks kind of like a chalkboard. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's so pretty. Oh, I love it. And see, I have all this black, and my hands aren't as dark as we thought, as I thought it would be. But that is such a cool technique. And like I said, very forgiving. You color outside the lines, not a problem. I had some people that just barely went over it, and they really liked kind of like the gray background. So you could do that too. It's just such a cool technique. So we are going to, I can kind of clear this away now. We're going to put, oh, actually I'll leave it. I'll just flip it over so I have white on the background. Let me get forgot my seal here. All right. And need a little strip here too. All right. So I'm just going to grab and see, you can even see on the back where I colored it too. So I'm going to use seal. You could use liquid glue. Liquid glue, actually, I would recommend doing that. I just grabbed the seal. It's not quite dry, it looks like, but that's okay because I'm putting it on a black mat here. That's just a little bit of a border. I hope you guys are excited to try this. I was so impressed with this. I love it so much. All right, so there's that. And then now I'll clear this away. And then hopefully I don't get black ink all over everything. And this is my bubble bath, and I forgot to grab my bone folder. I cleaned everything up, and I cleaned up too well. I don't have any of my stuff over here. I usually have. All right. And then I'm going to put I love Stampin' Seal Plus. It's got that great strong hold. I like to use it. So we're just going to put this right in the center. It's going to have a little bit of a bigger border here. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh. All right, so now we're going to do our words. So I'm just going to set that to the side for right now. And I'm going to grab, I almost always have like a little 1/2 inch scrap or something, or I'll cut it down if I don't. I think Actually, that would be perfect for the Cancer Sucks, I think is what we're going to use here. I have... So a tip too, if you want to make sure that your words are straight, you can use grid paper or some kind of grid background and line up your words and then stick it on the block. And that helps to make sure that your words are straight. This will probably work. So we're just going to use that same black pad and stamp Cancer Sucks. And then I need, oops, I need dimensionals and my scissors. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. I'm so glad you enjoy it. So I'm just going to trim this just a little bit. This is about, like I said, a 1/2 inch wide strip. So if you have like a little scrap, you just kind of grab that. And then we're going to take a couple of dimensionals, maybe 3, and put those. I like to do it so the flat edge of the dimensionals lines up with the edge of the paper. And then we are just going to put that right along that black edge there. And that's it. Now we have our cards just like that. What do you guys think? Pretty cool, right? Okay, so if you enjoyed this, please give me a little thumbs up or heart. Don't forget to share this with your crafty friends and invite them to join us on Mondays at noon Eastern time. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And like I said, if you do try this, please go to my Facebook page and leave a picture of your project. I would love to see what kind of folders you play with and what projects you come up using this technique. I think it's so cool. All right, guys. Well, next week I will be live at my normal time on Monday at noon, so don't forget to join me. And until then, be safe and happy stamping. Bye-bye.